We do have Elic in the chat. We'll start with Elic because Elic, we love Elic. He is our local duality coper. And when you look in the dictionary under duality coper, you will find a picture of Elic and his deck profiles with 3 duality. And this time he's actually running the wanted package. And we all joke about it. We all joke about it. I think actually duality is just fine. I ran duality back actually in Nats 2023, and he's running it here with the Sinful Spoils package with 60 cards, which is cool to see. And you're running the 3 duality plus the 3 witch. I don't like the 3 witch. 3 witch is way too much. I think Impermon witch sucks. So like usually just running 1 is just fine. You aren't running desire, so you don't have like a fear of banishing too many, so you can just run 1. In my opinion, the 3 duality is cool with grass because it's a good mill. I don't know about 3 for that reason, but I don't know. You also probably don't need the Dark Magician in a duality build, but I know like sometimes you prefer like hard making it. And then you are running the wanted package with 1 deception, 3 wanted. I agree with that. I think the wanted package is amazing. It's just like you don't really, I mean, I guess you're running the 3 witch so you can see it. So I guess that makes sense. So you can at least like open it in 60 card, because I've been running like 45 to 50 as Amina branded, and it's, you know, sometimes like I don't need more witch, but like at 60 I could see how you maybe need more. Good night, my Italiano. Feliz Navidad, mamma mia. Visas Navidad. Angel, your streams start very late for me, Mustafa. Yes, I know. It's basically anyone in the US, it starts late. And I even start late in the US. I feel very bad. I need to get better streaming time. Like, if I streamed 3 hours before my normal stream time, I think it would work out literally better for everybody. So, and then you're also running the Azamina Soul for the board breaking package, which I agree with. You're running the Lad and the Dragoon. I guess that's okay. And you're still running 2 Grand Guignol. I would not run the 2. I think you could cut that down to 1. You're not running a puppet target. You're not even running an ad lib. So you definitely do not need the 2nd Grand Guignol. Overall, very solid list. All right, so we have EPA's new branded list. Made a new branded build. Decided to side Super Poly and remove Ogre. Found out the hard way why branded doesn't run hand traps. Yeah, I remember last roasting deck list you were trying out the Ogre, and I wasn't too sure about it. Now I have a Despian monster that I can make in Masquerade going first and easy siding going second, depending if their deck is super polyable. Wondering if I should cut Tragedy or Sark. Please help. So this is a 47 card branded list by Mr. EPA Community Goat in the chat. Always keeping up the conversations in the chat. I really do appreciate you, EPA. Thank you for your presence as always in the chats. Like, goated community member. So we have the Albaz party at 47. I've actually liked 47. I think 47 branded is actually just fine when you run the 6 board breakers like you have in Dropland, Book of Eclipse, and then you have the Nadir. It's actually very similar to my Ohio regional in the beginning, or list in the beginning of Snake format. People remember that list? Probably no one does, but and you have the ad lib instead of the puppet, so that's fine. 1 Quem 2 Cartesia. Honestly, overall, the main deck looks pretty solid to me. I'm not sure if I'd do anything outside of cutting the Nadirs and perhaps going to 3 High Spirits so you can have a better, because I think High Spirits is just a better card than Nadir, so you should be running 3 High Spirit before you're running Nadir. Wonder if I could cut Tragedy and Sark. Please help. Yeah, I think you could cut Tragedy and Sark. I think Tragedy is kind of a brick, and then at that point you could cut Sark. Get to 45 very easily. Very good list. Oh, also the side deck, Volcharmy, 1 Lancia, 3 Super Poly, 3 Evenly, 1 D-Barrier, 1 Mud Dragon, 1 Quertus. The side Quertus is a bit troll. Like, where are you siding that for? You know, I would at that point just, like, cut the Stapelia, in my opinion. Or just not run it. I know you need it for OTKs, I guess, but, like, I don't know. I don't think you actually need it. In my opinion, it is nice, though, sometimes. But if you're not running the lock, I guess I could see why you're running it. If you're not running the lock, you kind of do need it for an OTK. Because if you can't just, like, lock. That's why I just run the lock over Quertus. Because the lock will be great against Malice. I think, you know, people don't like running the lock. But if you're running Sanctifier, there's no reason to side, like, an Ido. No reason not to side an Ido. Because it helps you play through hand traps very easily. The same. I'd also say the Bolcharmies, I guess, is fine at 47. I just also run an Uka. You need like a hand trap to go off them. Like, you need to draw something off the Molcharmy, and the only thing you're drawing is like Saronir. So I'd have like a Magnamut and like Ukas or something with like an Ecclesia to go against the Fiendsmith variants. Scott Hubbs, any tips? Mainly struggling with the extra decks. So this is Scott Hubbs' Buster Blader deck. So I'm not too familiar on Buster Blader. That is, I'm going to show my bias on that one. I'm not too familiar on that, but we do have the 3 Lubellion, one of the new Red MD one of the old Red MD plus one of the old and new Buster Blader plus the Bastille package, one of each plus the 2 Ash, then the 3 Red Eyes Black Metal, and then the 3 Whelp, and then the 3 Valor, and then we do have the rest of the basically just a bunch of traps that they want to resolve on top of the Omni Negate Metal Morph, on top of 1 Daruma on 3 Imperm. I would also, I mean, if you're gonna run hand traps, it's either like you have to go more into it. I'd run 3 Ash. I think Ash is the best hand trap in the game. I'd say overall this is a list that looks solid. I would just say the trap trick is probably unnecessary. Unless that's like pretty standard in Buster Blader, I might be a little bit unfamiliar. I just remember seeing like a branded Buster Blader build that was pretty cool, and you didn't need that. So I'd also like, but also this looks very solid because Lubellion plus the Bestials are amazing right now. If you can run those in any deck, like you're doing great. I'd consider maybe Fiendsmith. Like, do you get Dragon Locked in this deck? Because like Fiendsmith would kind of go hard in this build. I'm not gonna lie. You probably don't have the room though, to be fair. Typhon also. Typhon, yeah, it's like someone said Typhon is not bad in here. And then we have LL Milkman, still new to this deck. Any thoughts? All right, so we have Chimera Fiendsmith. I mean, it looks like a Chimera Fiendsmith list if I've ever seen one. Let's roast these decks, hell yeah. Romy and Salhurst Grasp over Branded or Dark Magician plus Albion the Shroud Dragon or Shroud Albaz turns Branded White into a Dragoon. No. All right, so yeah, I mean this is Fiendsmith list. I'd say maybe try to get your best to like a 42 card list, but I'd also look at like what Nightfall's done in Dikabui. Like I feel like they've kind of solved this list overall. Overall, it seems like you're not doing anything inherently wrong. I'd just say there's optimizations you can make for this format. Like I think Droplet might not be the play, but there might not be a better option in your deck, kind of thing. I think the Book of Eclipse is correct probably, and things like that. And then you have the Lancia's Ulti Slayer Thrust. I mean, yeah, I mean the 1D barrier looks a bit weird. I'd try to look for something else in that case. All right, so EPA finally cut down on the deck, removing Tragedy and Stark. As much as I like Tragedy, it's there for the consistency in the 50 card build, and at the end of the day, it's still technically a brick for Stark. I never liked it, so that is the updated EPA build from a few deck lists ago. I do say probably don't repost deck lists, but like it's fine EPA, because like I end up like reviewing the one before, then you post the updated one. I'm like, but like, so like just delete like the old deck list in that case probably. Like for the future, but I like this list. I'd say just overall like update the Quartus and stuff like that, or just at least put that in the main and like drop like Lulu. I don't think you need Lulu, and like I said, you could put 3 High Spirit over the Nadirs, maybe side Nadir. You could also put Magnuma to help out on the Dark Dragons. Hazatron 19. I'm not sure about having both Ido and DDT King. Other than that, this tight deck has been working well. Branded Regained in the Nadir package is always good. I think the rest is pretty standard for Branded. Side deck going second. Shadal package is good. So yeah, no, this is my man Haz's list. This is 46 Branded. Overall, it is an interesting list. I think that Branded has been doing pretty well overall at a lower the ground build. He is running the Vice King too, which is fine in my opinion. I would personally side it. I don't think you need it exactly a lot of game one. Sometimes you do against Malice, but I think overall you could like avoid the brick sometimes. But obviously if you're gonna side anyway, like it's not a bad main. And then yeah, so and overall, like I mentioned before, like High Spirits over Nadir, side Nadir kind of thing. I think High Spirits is just like a way better card, quality card. I like the Super Poly in the Book of Eclipse. You are running the Super Poly targets in Garura and then Masquerade and Stapelia. I like the extra deck actually a lot. And the side deck looks solid too. I do like the Shadal Fusion package. So you can like send the Ariel plus the Dragon and then make app clone. So that's like 3 interruptions off of 1 Shadal Fusion. So if the Shadal Fusion resolves, you're probably winning the game. She be dualitying on my Albion Branded till I Sanctifier Dragoon. Oh god. Spoiler alert, my next brand list removed my Gold Sark and Tragedy. Baby girl Angela, hi, I'm new here. Do you also react to Master Duel decks? I'm having trouble figuring out what to run in my branded deck list. Yeah, for sure. Baby girl Angela. Well, I can review any deck. Any deck as long as it's a Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Like, you could post a One Piece deck, and I won't be able to do much. Like, maybe if Dom was around. So yeah, I do like the regain, and the regain is interesting. I've been seeing people run that. I don't think regain belongs in our deck personally, because we can't link off. It's not like a constant recursion thing. I just don't think, I mean, regain's okay in our deck, but it's like, what are you drawing? Are you drawing hand traps? No. And regain's a lot better when you're drawing hand traps, in my opinion. So I don't like regained and branded. I think it's a brick. I actually don't mind the evenlies either. I know a lot of people have talked down on evenly. I think evenly is just fine. This fusion that I saw in a Galzo video, this is interesting for super poly target against Malice. I think Garura is just fine though, so you could probably cut that in my opinion. Oh yeah, speaking of One Piece decks to roast, shout out to Slendermancer. He literally posted a One Piece deck. Like, this is how goated this mod is. Like, he knew I was gonna make a joke about roasting One Piece decks, so he knew that, so he posted one. All right, so here's Romian, the branded idiot. So shout out to Romian. He's been around so long in the community, man. Also knows Raul, man. Like, GOAT. So he's also in the chat with us right now. So shout out to Romian. Current list, I kind of want to fit an ad-lib and a second Quem, but I don't know what to cut. Foolish seems the most cuttable. I agree. Just offhand without even seeing the list. But it feels wrong since it's a one-card starter. I've been liking Branded Banishment a lot recently, not running High Spirits because of a lack of targets in hand. Thinking about main deck Super Poly and stuff Droplet, but I'm undecided. Shell Fusion's only been in for 1 week and not enough data to say if it's good or not. Looks fun, though. So, yeah, no, this is a 50-card list here with the Branded Azamina goo. We love Branded Azamina, guys. I do really like it. Even in meta with, like, Ryzeal running around, yeah, they'll pop your Deception, but I think overall you're baiting so many hand traps and generating advantage so with the Azamina, and it gives you, like, a nice grind game, too. I think overall it's actually a very solid package that you should consider in your branded list at the moment. You're running the Nadirs because you aren't running more dragons. I mean, overall, you could... Yeah, I guess Nadir in this build makes sense. I have actually tried to up the high spirits in a build like this, and they kind of conflict. So, I can see why you're running Nadir, but overall, I would just go for high spirits and run more dragons, personally. Like, because you can cut the 3 at Nadir, put in 2 high spirits, and then... Also, you're just not running high spirits. I mean, the one list did not run high spirits. I kind of don't agree with that. At least 1 high spirits, I would say. At least 1 high spirits. I think 1 high spirits would actually do really well in a build like this. And I just like Nadir is so dubious in the main deck. I understand though. Posted the goo, don't Uka my guy. Okay, Yuri. But yeah, overall, I'd say like the Foolish is definitely cuttable. Same with the Gold Sark, but I think Gold Sark's just fine. It's just like if you're cutting Foolish, you should probably cut the Tragedy, and then you can cut. I mean, at that point, it's like, what do you cut the Gold Sark then too? You know, you go 45 pretty easily in that kind of scenario. Shadal Fusions in the side deck. Very similar side deck to the last deck we just saw, plus the Super Polys. You could do Super Poly over Droplet and have more, like, room for, like, Molcharmies or something. Or, like, Ukos. I'd say that would be pretty good. And that, because you already have the Garura and Masquerade, so you have the best, like, Super Poly targets you can have. X-Baby Otter. The Lilla Treats are supposed to be the new Lilla Sweets, and the Ptolemy is the Live Twink Link 1. Okay. So the Lilla Treats are supposed to be the new Lilla Sweets. So I think this is the treats right here, right? These are the treats. So that's supposed to be the new one. So we have 3 Sunny Snitch plus basically the Evil Twins plus the new Evil Twin, because this thing basically links into or can help you facilitate the Fiendsmith engine. I believe, basically. So that's why you're also running the Fiendsmiths. And you're like, why didn't this deck already run Fiendsmith? It's because all the main deck Live Twin monsters are not Light Fiends. But now you can link them off into a Light Fiend, Link 1. At least you can do the one. I forgot which one. Baby Otter, you might want to be more... you might want to give me a hand on that one. But because of that, now you get an automatic, like, bridge. You can basically go normal summon this, like, search off a Sunny Snitch, like, basically normal summon, go into Requiem, and just do your whole thing, which is really cool, and then still have the Live Twin combo, which is really cool to see. And then also you are running, because of that, 3 Engraver with the Fiendsmith in Paradise, 1 Tracked, only running 1 because you're keeping that tight 40. And you have the 1 Larry, then the 1 Lacrima, and then you are running the Kiso Kill and Lilla. 1 of Brick, I'm pretty sure you have to run. And then you're running 20 non-engine, and Ash, Imperm, 3 Molcharmy, 2 Ogre, 3 Veiler, 3 Nib, and then 3 Talents. I really like the list. I mean, I think this looks almost... I know you said this is beta, but, like, I would say overall, this is very much kind of like... This looks very solid. I'll be buying my Molcharmies with the reprint. Yeah, exactly. Like if you wait for the Molcharmies, I won't blame you. And then in the side, 3 cross out, 3 droll, 3 thrust, and then a few different like thrust targets. Not bad. The one of Ultimate Slayer seems a little bit weird. I don't like thrusting for Ultimate Slayer, so I'd consider maybe running 3 personally. Extra deck is a Fiendsmithing Evil Twin extra deck. I'd see no Typhon though. Maybe that's an interesting choice. And then also this is the Evil Twin Link one, not an actual Ptolemy. Do you only need to run one of them? That's interesting. Donuts, siding pattern or for Malice at my locals, then known going first cards. Hand traps work well. So this is Donuts branded list with 3 Nibiru, 1 Shrouded, and an Adlib, plus the Ido. Running Adlib and Ido is very spicy, plus 2 Aluber, very spicy. But you're also running, you know, outside the standard branded package, hand traps. You're also running 3 Ash, 3 Nib, and then 3 Imperm, plus 3 Droplet, plus 3 Book of Eclipse. And I actually really like that. I think there is sometimes a conflict, though, with running hand traps and board breakers, though. So I do have to wonder, Donuts, like how these hands have been for you. Like, do you find them conflicting a lot? You're also running 1 Mourner, which is interesting. I just run a Veiler over Mourner at that point, because Veiler is like strictly better in our deck than Mourner. And then the Blazing Branded King in the main. I would be worried about bricking on some of these hands, but you are running the Nadir, 1 High Spirits. I'd probably run 3 Nadir, but I don't know. You have to be careful with the hand traps. You want to draw enough non-engine. I feel like you have a pretty good going second with this kind of build, right? I'd just say the hands might get a little awkward when you don't have a starter. All right, what's up, Tuppus Jones? Yes, you can bring it back with Lilia, so you can recycle it with Engraver. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. I like the Imperms too. Imperm is actually like almost as good as Droplet right now, if not better. So yeah, I like this list not too much. I mean, you are siding the Veilers. I'd just probably main them at that point. I'll remind you, this is the deck I've had a decent amount of success with at locals. I only have 1 Fuwalos, and that's why the weird numbers. I would play with 3 Fuwalos, obviously. So yeah, this is the shout out to Angra Mind You in the chat with his Melodious list, is pure Melodious. We do have 3 of the Herald, 3 of the Refrain, and then 3 of the Pendulum, plus 3 of the Extender, and then 1 Diva, plus 3 Ash, 2 Droll, 1 Fuwo. He explained the weird ratios. Then just Ostinato package. Ostinato, just another branded fusion, essentially. And then 3 Dominus Purge. And then the 2 Pod Desires, which is interesting, but that makes sense in a build where you're in a deck where you basically just essentially have so many duplicates where it doesn't even matter. So, yep. So, and then, yep. I mean, honestly, it's a Melodious deck. I would go with Prophecy Wiz if you want to get some tips on Melodious. I'm not too... I know how to play against the deck. I don't know how to build Melodious. I do know Melodious, though, Ryzeal, but there's not a whole lot you can transfer from there. And I'm wondering if you'd ever played Melodious Ryzeal over this. We have Killer's deck profile in the chat for Master Duel. 50 card branded Dragoon. He's running 3 Ash, 3 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, not 3 Veiler, Maxx C with the Dark Magician, then plus the 3 Duality, 3 Droplet. And then the regular branded package with 3 Shrouded. So the 3 Duality is interesting. I would just cut the Dark Magician. Honestly, I don't think you have to run Dark Magician if you're running 3 Duality. I just think it gets you 1 less brick. I would also run 3 Cartesia if you're running 3 Duality, because like Duality goes with that card so well. But then at that point, you do have to make your going second better. In my opinion, I mean, you do need the Ash for Tenpai, but I think you need like Super Poly in this kind of build. Because you get the draws back with the Duality. I think it's fine. It's either that or evenly, in my opinion. And then you are running the 2 Mirror Jade, 2 Grand Guignol. You aren't running any locks, so you can remove 1 Grand Guignol. You only need 2 Grand Guignol if you're running the lock, to be honest. Like, yeah, or I guess you're running the Duality, but for that reason, I would like, I don't know. I guess it is Master Duel. So I guess 2 Grand Guignol can be there if you're running the Duality. Yes, that's true. It's just like, I would run an Adlib at the very least. Like, what are you sending off a Grand Guignol, right? Like, would like to make my list 60 cards, but I don't know how. So if you want to make this 60 cards, you would obviously run grass. You would need some like ways to get through your deck. So in my opinion, I would run 3 High Spirits. And then it's like either a Lure probably, and then like some Bestials kind of thing. Kind of what I'm doing on Master Duel when you look at my deck right here. you know, we're running 3 high spirits, which helps. We do have more you could also fill up on hand traps, non-engine, also Nadir. I think Nadir is just one of your best 1-card starters, so I'd add Nadir to the list for sure too. Like, Nadir is definitely missing in this list if you're trying to go 60. Ibrahim E, I just built branded last week. Appreciate you, Ibrahim. I'm gonna make you a YuGiOh. I've seen you around in the chats a lot before. I'll be buying Mulcharmies. Yeah, I already read that. All right, so this is, like I said, Ibrahim's Master Duel branded list. I believe it's Master Duel. It could just be standard. I can't tell. No, it's not Master Duel. Or no, it is because branded openings at 2. So 2 Veiler, 3 Ash, 1 Keeper, 2 Nib, 2 Imperm, 3 Ash. Yeah, so I mean, I like these ratios enough. I just maybe 3 Imperm is better than like the Veilers kind of thing. And I guess Veiler's engine too, so I guess for ratios, I can't even blame you for going to Veiler. Main deck looks fine, honestly. Just built branded last week. Well, you did a pretty good job. I have no real qualms with the main deck, honestly. I'd just say 3 Thrust would be what you want. You know, 3 Thrust for sure. And I'd, in that case, just take out some non-engine so you aren't bricking too much. And then also add in Nadir because you're going to need Nadir to not brick on a 60-card build like this. Baby Otter. This is my current Raziel deck list. Currently, you have a 28-3 record on it. Okay, I'm going to be testing this at some point, Baby Otter, because I've been needing a really good pure Raziel list, but this is going to be the one I'm going to do that I will go off of. 3x, 3 sword, 3 ice, 1 node, 2 field spell, 1 trap, 1 plug-in, then a bunch of hand traps, 1 nib. 2 ogre, 2 droll, 3 Mulcharmy. I just don't think droll's very good, but obviously I think you have it for a cross-out target, so I think you have to run 1. I would just put a 3rd ogre over the 2nd droll, personally. And also maybe consider 3 desires, but I think 2 is just fine. Also, like, I mean, I guess you're running the 2 field spell because of desires. I just think 2 field spell's really bad. So, but I like the main deck. How have you been liking the 2 field spell, Baby Otter? I mean, you have a 28-3 record, so, like, it obviously works. I feel like that just might be more of an argument against Pod Desires than anything, right? And, yeah, no, I mean, I also purrely, I'd consider just not even siding purrely. I think purrely is pretty bad right now overall. It's not, like, bad, but it's not, like, great. Also, the 2 aggregator I like a lot. I think 2 aggregator is actually entirely correct in pure build. Funny Giant with your RYUG list. We are going to have to do a visual on this one. Oh, it's the Invoker RYUG list. This is spicy, actually. I wish we had the picture form of this, but we're going to have to deal with this. 3 Invoker, 1 Protos, 1 Ash Blossom, 3 Ash Blossom, 2 RYUG Havka, 2 Cairo, 3 Kyoro, 3 Sosei. I love the names. And then you're running a huge RYUG package, bunch of 2-ofs, and then Book of the Law. What's the Book of the Law? I presume that's a RYUG card. Ultimate Slayer Invocation. And then Imperm, Omega Summon, RYUG Rivalry. What's Omega Summon? Oh my gosh, this sounds very... I need to see the picture form of this deck list if you're here, Funny Giant, because I can't quite do this justice without it. But I do like it a lot. You have the Super Dreadnought. You have a bunch of Invoke cards. Lots of Invoke cards. Basically Invoke deck. Pure Invoke deck, essentially. With like a RYUG engine that also gets you out to Varudris, apparently. And then also like a burn. We the Beast. We have branded here. I'm just going to skip duplicates right now. We the Beast, branded 50 card, so I could get to everybody also, because as much as I would love to, but no, 50 card branded with regain, got cut that regain. I mean, I know people like it for Malice, but honestly, it's not as good in our deck as people think it is. You can't link off Bestial, so it automatically makes a card like Lubellion a lot worse in our deck at multiples, and then also, especially with branded fusion at only 1. Like I mentioned, because I think overall the combos with Bestial Lubellion are a lot better when you hard open branded fusion. So, no Book of the Law is an invoke card. Got it. 2 Ash. If you're going to run Ash, you got to run 3. If not, don't even run it. In my opinion, you don't even need Ash in a build like this. But, like, if anything, I'd run Imperm, because Imperm can out a detonator. Ash cannot out a detonator. So... I like the Nadirs, but you could probably cut the Nadirs inside them so you have like a more consistent time. I just don't think you need the Nadirs when you run 3 high spirits, and then also you could run a Magnamut to increase your dark count. and give yourself a better going second, and then while cutting the beast, yeah, and then the ashes, you should be at about 45 cards at that point, and makes it a lot better. And then side deck, I see the Droll. I mean, Droll's okay, I guess. You need it for like the Dark World matchup and stuff like that, so I could see why you side it, especially if you don't have mulch armies. I think that's actually completely correct still. And then you're siding Dark Magician, Dark Dragoon. I would not do that. I think those are wasted slots. It's like, where are you going to side it in against? I guess you're going to side in going first with Nadir, which is not bad, but still, I just personally would either main it or not. Bro, that's my White Forest deck. EPA, I said 1 entry per person, and you posted 5 deck lists. But yeah, I can go through all the reasonings for the card selection. For which deck? Also, here is EPA's invoke. Well, okay. Well, thanks for giving us a visualize of iFunny's. Is this just iFunny's deck? No, this is just another version of it. No, this is not. No, this is just like the Ryuji, or this is the Fiendsmith Cash version of it. So yeah, if you want a Fiendsmith Cash invoked version, and then also this is a White Forest Azamina build. By EPA, the White Forest part of the Creek, very funny. He's also running the Zapper Shrimp. You might as well run Godia the Deep Beyond, but your extra deck's probably way too tight for that. We do have Blazing Branded Kings. Too much buy Smith in the format. The list is kind of decent. Stay Uka, amigos. I love Yuri, man. No one does it like him. So here's Yuri's updated branded deck list for the format right now, if you guys want the goo from Mr. YCS Topper with Brandon himself. Humble request, Sensei by Ninja Beats for song requests. Also, yeah, Baby Otter, what's your song requests too? Yeah, guys, if anyone donated like enough or any subs, you get song requests. Just let me know. Just gotta remind me. So Regained, like I said, I have my qualms with Regained in the main, but besides that, it's a very good list. And we love a Stellar. I love the Adlib. I love the Dragoon. I love the Azamina. I love the Druid Swarm. Like, Yuri's done a bit of everything in this list, and I love to see it. We do have Dizzy Ninja in the chat too, with their branded Azamina list right here. Another TV. Yo. Like I said, I love those. I love when people are like, I'm just watching you on my big TV. I'm just fall asleep to the METAGAMESGX crew, or, you know, when you're like Baby Otter, just hard at work at the office. What do you do again, Baby Otter? I'm curious. Like, if you mind sharing with us. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I think I've asked before. It's just, this isn't personal to anybody, but my short-term memory is not great sometimes. I'll be the first one to say that. Undel Ramos, it would sack a dead lad and pop a card. My song request is Rain City Drive Frozen. Got you. We're in for peak music as always with Baby Otter. Not that the song by Salty Fry wasn't peak, but so this is branded Azamina. It has, you know, like Ido in it. It has, you know, I like this list. I just think like overall, branded Azamina sometimes has a tough time going second when you're at like anything over 45, because like then you just start drawing way too many going first cards, I think, like, or just like not enough like banger one card starters. So I've been liking Azamina branded at like 40 to 45 cards kind of thing. So I'd like maybe try to find a way to cut it down to that, in my opinion. Like cut out one Quem, cut out Tragedy, cut out Gold Sark. Like, because you're just running Tragedy for Gold Sark. I mean, I guess it's okay too, since you go Branded Fusion, cut the Regain. Personally, I don't know, man. Regain just doesn't seem like the play to me. Maybe side it, if anything, but I think locking them is just fine. And then you do have a good side here. Nothing really too much to complain about, honestly. Was thinking about moving Soul out for Guardian Chimera Chaos, and Soul rarely ever comes up. Yeah. I mean, Soul is kind of just whatever. It's an option. Regain is incredible tech versus Malice, so I really like it. I mean, fair enough. If you really like it, then keep running it. I'd just say overall, I don't love the card's prospect when it's like a nerfed card in our deck versus like other decks, in my opinion. I work for the IRS. Yo, very cool, very cool. My man's a tax man. Don't look into my taxes. No, we good. Draw from Regain gets me into the Azamina engine. Yeah, exactly. That's true. I just hate drawing on my opponent's turn and then drawing like a board breaker and not being able to use it. Like, I feel like the draw on your opponent's turn is like almost like sometimes what you need, because of Magnuma kind of thing is the only time you draw. No, I did not. I'll just play it all again. No, I get way more out of Ostinato. Oh, man, I was gonna say, are you Masquerade? I'm more like Sanctifier if he wasn't used for evil things. You do like giving out, you like giving people a little bit of everything. You're more like, you're like a rotted Sanctifier. Or like the remake of Sanctifier, Creighton Pre-Wanted. Where basically it summons monsters but negates their effects. Or maybe it could just special... honestly, if Sanctifier just could target monsters that mention Fallen of Albaz, that's all it has to do. It's that or just like negate the effects of monsters that it summons. Mech Knight IP Fossil Dyna has some extra materials. Sorry guys, we're getting some more music in here. Alright, we got some Xenoblade up in here. I'm stuffed of it AF. I'm back, just ate Christmas Eve dinner. Yo, let's go. What did you have, Craps? Welcome back, brother. Nice to see you. Malice Goat. Shadow Forks. I don't know if it's a bad time, but I have a question or two as well. I'll answer that after this deck list. So this is Angela's deck list, or Angie's deck list. Shout out to Angie in the chat. Hi, I know my deck list is weird, but weird enough. It's actually consistent and rarely bricks. I know I'm coping by running one Gamma and one Driver, but it saves me some games. I was thinking about dropping Keeper for a Stellar of the White Forest because it specials Queb and Cartesia. That's totally fair. I was also thinking about adding 2 droplets, replacing the Druiswarm with Magnuma and removing Maximus. I have tried these changes recently. I've found that no matter what I change, my starting hands have been bricks. Any help and suggestions would be appreciated. So yeah, you're at 60 cards. So like 60 card always is a ratio game with Branded, where like if you don't get the ratios kind of like in a rhythm where like your hands won't just like brick you, there's no point in running 60. But 60 card lists are tighter than like 50 or 40 card lists in Branded, honestly, because to run a correct 60 build, you have to have a lot of like, there's so many elements that have to come in. So like, I think in this list, you are very obviously running some bricks that I would cut that are contributing to your hands. You aren't running Pot of Desire, so I'd consider cutting 1 Quem and going for a Cartesia over that, if anything. 1 Quem can be bad going second. You don't want to see double Quem going second. That's why I say that. Obviously, sometimes you need it, but I just run, like, you have Lulu. There's ways to recycle it. I think with Lulu, I think the 1K.